Hello, Smite fans. Welcome to episode 5 of the Gank Right Lane podcast. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the new update that just came out yesterday at the time of recording this, the problems with the new HUD that they released. We're going to be talking about Shinto missing the kickoff tournament for the SPL. And we're going to give our predictions for that very tournament. John, how are you doing today, good sir?
Good man, how have you been?
Been all right.
Good. As I was sitting here, you said episode 5. I was holding up all 5 of my fingers to the camera, but it's not on, so forgot they couldn't see that. So just want to make it known I was trying to contribute, and so
Also, you only have 5 fingers?
on one hand,
Oh, I thought you meant total.
would you rather have 6?
Well, I thought you meant you only had 5 fingers total.
No, just on one hand.
I was like, what
I mean,
fingers is he missing? He loses left hand at some point? What happened?
That would explain how I play Smite, to be honest with you.
If you play Smite like you're missing a hand, then the rest of us are the most ass. Because you're better than all of us.
I don't know about that, but we did play.
Every friend group that we play with, you're better than, that's for sure.
We got some games in last night
We did.
on the new 10-3?
Yep,
Season
10-3.
Hope update.
The new season.
You know, all the healing changes and stuff. Do you know how many games we played?
No idea.
So we can get a feel for it. I'm trying to look back.
8?
I played.
You played more than me. Because you were playing earlier in the day while I was working.
I got 11 games in yesterday. So I got a decent feel for it, and I'm sure, you only had a couple less than me. I think you had 2 or 3 less than I did. So we both got a really good feel for
Yeah.
or decent kind of warm up.
Yeah.
The patch. And any just instant thoughts about it, Anything you want to point out?
I like it. It feels pretty good.
Besides the HUD?
Yeah,
Just
besides the
gameplay?
HUD.
Yeah. I really enjoy it. Like we were saying last week, it's fresh. It's something new.
Yeah.
I haven't had a single game without an Aphrodite, though.
Yeah.
11 Afro games in a row.
To be fair, I was multiple of those.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was the culprit in some of those as well, but
Yeah. Afro Guan was very fun in the duo lane for us.
I do lane the Afro Guan and I mean, we both went like tanky, didn't we?
I went hybrid. I had 2 tanky items.
Okay.
And you went full
But
tank.
yeah, we both had double-digit kills. I mean,
think so.
we really ran that. We really ran that
Yeah.
game.
I mean, it really helped that you were constantly casting your abilities.
Yeah. Whenever
Yeah, I
you're
think you
linked
said
to
you
me-
had, whenever I was linked to you, you had your 2 up at all times.
Yes.
You were only ever 2ing.
And then, yeah, my cooldown reduction on my 1, and then your cooldown reduction on your 3, all linked to me. I just didn't have cooldowns.
Yeah. I still did, but they weren't very long, for sure.
It felt like bullying for a while.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything I see that's, anything that's super OP. I guess I haven't found anything just yet. It's still, the first day.
Right. Afro is
So
pretty strong.
she is strong. And, it feels like a new God release at this point just because of everything and the new skin and how she got a big buff. And so that's why I think we're seeing so much of her. But yeah, she's also very strong. I wouldn't say she's like a top, like the number 1 character in the game. Like if you don't have her, you're gonna lose.
Right.
Type thing.
A lot of people on Reddit are saying that. I don't think they're correct, frankly.
Mm-mm.
I think it's just an overreaction because a lot of people don't like Afro.
Yeah.
And they're not used to her being good.
That's honestly, out of all day yesterday, she wasn't the most annoying thing I played against yesterday, and she hasn't been the most annoying thing I played against in a while. So I mean, it's not fun.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not,
there's
I'm not
Chang'e in the
saying that-
game
right?
and Loki. You know.
Yeah, but it's like it's manageable. You can figure out your ways around it.
Yeah.
Um, um, I'm thinking. Got anything you wanna add that you've discovered yesterday?
I'm trying to think of like what all I played besides Afro. I didn't give Herc a go yet. I played
Oh,
Bologna with the new healing thing because it procs off her 3, and it felt pretty good in the early game. And then late game, I didn't do anything. So
I'm trying to think of what game would that have been this. No. Oh, is this one, huh? Yeah, that was kind of a rough
more
game for all
Afro
of
games.
you. You had a lot of Afro yesterday. I mean, it was.
I played Arachne jungle. Arachne feels pretty good.
Mhm.
I
Again,
didn't even like notice the like cooldown thing, but I'm sure it was there. And I'm sure it was helping. And with Bloodforge on her, she's just ridiculous.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's Bloodforge. That item is so much fun. Um, I mean, it was fun before, but it really finds its
Now it has attack speed.
niche in places like that. Yeah, you get attack speed, you get movement speed. Combo's really nice with the auto attack junglers.
Yeah, I'm thinking like imagine you go like an ability jungler and you build and then like Crusher Bloodforge. You have like 2 attack speed. And I know Bloodforge isn't really like a ability item, but it's still 75 power. You know,
Right. That's what
like it's
I
not bad
was
on ability characters.
working with this build. It was into Protector, um, into a Transcendence, a Hydras, um, Bloodforge. What's that? Serrated. And then last one's kind of like a flex, because you already have 30% penetration right there, and you have 20% cooldown. So I was doing like an Erendite, but you could also, do a Crusher if you're going to benefit a lot from that attack speed. Um, if you have to kill more tanks. It's that I was running that a couple times on my junglers, and that felt really good.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely a late game thing. Bloodforge is expensive. No,
Yeah.
I didn't try Bloodforge on any carry yesterday though.
That's gonna
That's
be
one.
annoying. Carries were already like very good late game. And this just makes them even better late game.
Yeah, I don't know how big it'll be in the carry role just because of
Your one carry game you played. No, I forgot you played a Zhang game as well. One of your 2 carry games you were Guan. So,
right.
and you were also the support actually.
We kind of switched that up last second.
Yeah. We were the duo lane.
Yeah, but that Jingwei game, the only person on their team who could kill me was their Bologna with that. What item is that called? Oh, the healing one that you went the other day. I gotta find it.
Yeah, the one I also went with Bologna. The one that isn't Sekhmet Scepter.
Right. In between, it's Vital Amplifier.
That's it.
That's the one. Yes.
New Zoom Orb is fun.
Mm-hmm. I didn't really get a lot of chances to use that. I guess I was playing a lot of tanks.
I didn't
yesterday.
either, but when I did use it, it was fun.
Tanks, jungles. I got to try out the Doom Orb on Anubis. It's just goofy.
A Zoombis. That didn't work.
You're close. You almost had something there.
Yeah.
You didn't play Anubis at all yesterday, did you?
No, I was gonna, and then somebody didn't select a character, so.
Nice. Yeah, it feels goofy to me being able to walk and use that.
Goofy.
Yeah, I didn't notice. It was like a rough game with him, so I don't know how much it was a testimony to how good he is.
Yeah, you
But
haven't tried the new Hell stuff yet, have you?
Hell,
Yeah,
yes.
you have.
So Hell was by far the most broken character I played all day yesterday. So we did the triple start in the back, which now leaves you at you need one minion to hit level 2 once you hit your wave. And so I normally would take my 3 as Hell. You have your dark stance, and you can hit everyone with that, with the big circle around you, and then you can heal your teammates with your light stance 3 and get them out to the lanes faster with the movement speed. But now that your 1 in light stance hits minions, I took that. And so my back camp clear was fast. We got to wave super fast. I think my jungler went to somewhere else. Okay. So I go on a wave. I dark stance 1 the wave, light stance it. That cleared the back minions. And I hit level 3 off that, or level 2. And then I was able to use my next ability to clear the front minions. And so before their mid laner got there, I had the entire wave cleared. Like and it's not like he was late, you know.
Right.
He was on.
He was just a little bit later than you.
Yes, I ended up level. I mean, you can clear the first time red buff spawns after start. You can clear it yourself. You can clear all the side camps yourself, as long as you're not getting out pressured by the jungler. You know, you're always gonna out. I don't know any mid lane mage that's gonna out pressure you. So. And so I was just able to power farm, and I made it to level 10 I think I hit level 10 when he was level 6. So that four level kill, yeah. But basically, and I ended up hitting, I finished at level 12, and the game lasted 10 minutes. They surrendered instantly. So
Yeah. Seems like
it felt,
anti-heal is going to be needed this patch.
yeah, for sure. I can't, I didn't play against a team comp that didn't have like, at least 3 or 4 healers on it. So
We had one. I remember. But I think it was the one where we faced that Bakasura and we had the best group communication we've ever had. I think it might have been that game. They didn't have very many healers, but it might have been a different one.
Yeah, they had a Anubis that game, and that was it. That was a fun game.
It was.
Smite's
a fun game, turns out. That's why we made a podcast about it. Whoa, crazy.
Wild how that works. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of fun lately. I had a lot of fun yesterday with this.
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get back on. I'm sure I'll be on tonight, playing some more, getting some more games in, seeing how they go.
For sure.
I know this is kind of in the future of the podcast, but I can't wait to see how the tournament goes. Like there's something about watching, at every level, any video game, sports, watching people play at the highest level, just to like really see the full potential of what things can do.
Right.
What people can do. I really enjoy that. And so, all these changes, we play casual at like an average level,
Right.
We're not playing against the players in the world. We're not playing against the worst ones. Arguably. But
sometimes.
Just seeing like people use all of these items to the most of their potential and all the god changes is something like I'm just itching to see.
For sure.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right, you want to move on to the HUD? I think we pretty much covered everything. We only played a couple games, and we talked about, most of the stuff last podcast.
Oh yeah, just getting a feel for the, real game instead of what the numbers are.
Right.
Numbers. Yeah, but the other, other big change coming with that was the HUD. all the wild changes of that.
Yes, it was an adventure yesterday.
For sure. Which, yeah, I mean, I thought everyone was like pretty on board, excited about it. I mean, how were you feeling before
I was pretty
yesterday?
excited. I'm pretty sure you were more reserved about it than me, if I remember from the last podcast.
Yes.
I was just like, yeah, no, this. Surely they can't just make it terrible. Surely when they say they're going to make the console shop or they're gonna make all the shop the same, and it's gonna be more like the PC shop. It's still gonna they're gonna change stuff from the PC shop to make it navigatable for console players. They did not do that. They just went here, we're gonna pick this up, and we're just gonna put it over here.
Yeah. I will say though, I just want to preface this. I do think I prefer the new one. To
The
be honest,
new HUD or the new shop?
new HUD. Okay, yeah,
Okay,
the shop thing. And this is a lot of people. A lot of streamers. Bigger people in the Smite community that play on PC were going and they were hooking up their controller and they were being like, this isn't hard. This is you just hook your controller up to your game. And they're like, you should be able to do this. Like, I don't know why people are complaining. They're also running it on a PC. That's I think where the main problem is coming from. Is every time I would go to buy an item or move pages in the shop, my game my frames would go out the window. It felt like my game was about to fall apart.
right. And
And
not only that, but it was also just harder to navigate.
yeah, I mean, and that's something that I think takes time. We've been playing on
Right.
with the last shop and the last HUD for the past 3 years now. And so obviously a change is going to take some time to get used to. I think I was able to play 3 or 4 games on it yesterday before they changed it back. Yeah, by the way,
They have changed it back.
they reverted it halfway through the day.
Yeah.
Not even, but I got some games off, and the first game I was lost, man. I wasn't late to the buff start,
Right. A
but
lot of people had problems with that. They just couldn't buy their stuff in time.
yeah, and I could see where that would happen. But I mean, it took me a long time, but by game 3, I knew what buttons I had to press to get where. It was just a matter of, holy crap, will it load in time to get me somewhere, so I can get to my items.
Right.
And it's like when I open the store, you back sometimes, you open the shop up, and you get ready to buy your item and step out instantly. But say you're back in, and you're in the shop, and someone jumps on top of you, you have to get out of the store, and then take action, fight them, run, whatever. If I was backing yesterday and was in the store and got jumped on, my game would not load me out of the store in time to survive. I mean, I would be dead before I got loaded out of the store.
Right.
And that was my biggest problem.
Right. And that is just one of the many problems people are having with the store, right? And the new HUD in general. But here's I found this on Reddit. It's just a random person posted this, and I saw it, and I was like, this explains pretty well what the problem with the new shop was, even if it's not exactly correct. So take the numbers with a grain of salt. But the general idea of why it's worse is this, and credit to Chris Doom on Reddit. This is just a random user I found who posted this. With a controller just getting to the subcategory of item you want, again, not the item, just the subcategory, went from 6 button presses max to 15 button presses max. Minimum presses to go between subcategories also went up from 1 to 3. It's super slow and clunky. So it's 3 times as many button presses as it was before to get to your item on a controller.
Yeah. Which
That's a
isn't
lot.
right. I mean, I don't. want to spend more time in my games in the shop. Like that's not the part of the game. If I wanted to just buy things, I'd go play a different game.
Yeah.
Shop simulator. But yeah, that's insane. I would not have thought of that off
Right.
of my experience. But yeah, you can definitely to get from over here just to get to my item bar, the items that I had purchased, that's like 3 buttons right there, just to go down and like even look at what you have.
Right.
Buy things based on what's down there.
Right.
Yeah, it just very. Things seem like they were just randomly all over the place, which maybe that's the same way on PC. I'm sure it is, but
All right. Well, the difference on PC is that they can just search for the item.
right, yeah, they don't have to scroll through and look through all these pages of stuff.
Right. PC players going, oh, it only takes you like 10 seconds to do an item still, and it's like, bitch, it takes you two. You know,
Right.
like as if
Yeah,
you're literate, you can get to an item on PC in 2 seconds.
very fast, faster than most. Yeah, which I mean I don't know. Like I said, I did like the new hut, like the outside of the shop,
Right.
just
I also
looking,
like the HUD other than the shop, frankly.
and I really liked being able to. I like the idea of customize. I never got to try it. I never got to customize it.
Right.
Because when you did, and how was your experience
It,
when
it
you?
was bugged to all shit.
Yeah,
But as I was saying before the podcast, bugs like that happens. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it would get fixed, and eventually it would just be a good feature, right? The
yeah,
problem with the shop is that it was just a bad design choice to do what they did.
yeah, yeah. And I think just being I don't know because what's his name the CEO of
Stuart Chisholm,
Hi-Res, or what is he? I don't know what his credentials are. Um, yeah, Stuart,
the tweet that is on the screen right now for
Mis-
our viewers.
Mis- Mr. Chiz,
Yep.
um, put out a poll whether to keep the new HUD or roll it back. 42. Okay, so we
It's
take what
23.2% voted to keep, 42.2% voted to roll back, and 34.5% voted to just show results. I love how on the tweet they put meh, just show results on the Twitter of the official CEO of this company. The official CEO of this company wrote the word MEH.
meh. Eh. Okay, so what is that? That comes out to between the first two. That's 65%.
Yeah.
65 total, and so
All right. If you got rid of the just show results, it's
so
about like
65% of people chose.
it's over 60% chose to roll back.
Yeah,
Quite a bit over
about
60, probably closer to 64 or 65.
yeah. I think it's 64.6% of people chose to of the people that voted. Chose to change it back. Um, which then people were saying, like what we brought up in the comments. They're like, why don't you just like why can't we change the store back? Like console players can have their store, and then um, we keep the HUD because I think it's a general. I don't know. I think a majority of people do prefer or do like the new HUD, and they
Right.
understand that it
Well,
does take time.
one of the main reasons they rolled it back as fast as they did is because of performance issues and not because people didn't like it.
Right.
There were
I
a lot
mean,
of people having problems like with their games not working, like you were having.
yeah, it felt unplayable at times, and on day one of a new patch with all these changes, people want to play. It was taking us seconds to find games yesterday because there were so many people
Yeah, and we were playing
on.
at 1 a.m.
Right. So yeah, I don't. I would like it back, but he was saying it's stuff like that is not possible.
Right.
I think he said not feasible. He said it's those things are possible, but they're just not feasible at this time.
Right.
That's
So
just not something you can do.
right. I have a little bit of insight on this that a lot of people don't have because I know coding a little bit.
Right.
He's technically correct, but especially in the short term, like they couldn't like today like keep one and get rid of the other most likely. But
Right.
in like if you just wanted to keep the new HUD and not have a HUD editor and have the new shop, like high res has to do like testing and stuff. But like if you're talking about like a project I would work on in college, that would take me a day. Like in terms of actually like getting the code to a spot where like you could have the new HUD without the HUD editor and just have the new design and stuff, you could do that in like a day.
Yeah.
And in terms of getting the HUD editor back, they already have all the code. Some of it is probably interlinked with what the new shop code is, but that's only some of it. You know what I mean? It's not like they have to write the whole new thing from scratch. They just have to change a couple things and then move it over. Which like I'll be generous. I'll say like it would take like a week to do that. But then of course they have to test it, which who knows how long it would take to test it with the new stuff, right?
Right.
But like the thing is as well, like I could say, oh yeah, this would take me like a day, but also like it would take me a day if I did it right the first time and didn't make any bugs.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Code is not hard if you write it all right the first time.
I'm very surprised that there was no sort of tests on console. I mean,
Right.
I'm unaware if the PTS is on console. I'm pretty sure it's not.
People would have been
Uh,
talking about this already, I'm sure.
right, and that's like, did no one? I mean, if anyone in studio or like in high res tried this out, and said any of the Smite developers tried this on console, they'd be like, this is not gonna, they would see a problem.
Right.
Like I can, it was just pulling up the scoreboard too. That's something that's a habit of mine. I mean, it's like nature at this point. Every time I do anything, I hold down the touchpad on my controller, and it pulls up the scoreboard, with
Right.
the builds, stats, and then
I'm bringing it up quite a bit as well.
I can R1, and it has like, top gold, top mitigated, top kills, top damage, and it has all that right there. And that's just something I do, I click that and I go back and forth and I look at those things real quick. Yeah, I mean, I probably do that 50, 60 times a game, in all honesty. And that's something they, for one, switched them. So it still pulls up the scoreboard, but then you have to L1, which, I mean, it again, isn't a big deal, but it's just something that I've been doing.
Right.
I mean, like I said, 60 times a game. I play probably on average, 5 games a day, more or less some days. Um, that's something that's like wired into my brain at this point. And it took, I would touch the touchpad and it takes 5 seconds for it to even pull up when it used to, like, it's instantly. I touch it and it's up there. And
Right.
now I press the button and it takes 5 seconds, but while that 5 seconds is gone, I can't do anything else because my game starts lagging. And then it was just clunky.
Right.
It slowed my game down, and so I couldn't do it, which I mean wasn't a big deal. But if again, if I did want to see, builds and stuff, it took time in a game like Smite. You're not wanting to stand still for
Right.
10 seconds just to look at things because that's slowing you down in the scheme of the game. So
For sure.
that was my biggest complaint. I think I could have got used to the store the way it was, um, being slow. That's the scoreboard, and the player stats, and then the kill, the death recap. was all just awful for me.
Right.
That was horrible. Yep. Did you ever even get to see that yesterday?
I got to see it a little bit. I did a jungle practice where I was fucking with the HUD editor because I wanted to be ready for when we actually played. So before work,
Right.
I got on and tried to do the HUD editor. And every time you pushed apply, it would pull all your shit towards the center slightly.
Yeah, I never even got to go in the HUD editor, but I saw so many complaints on, Twitter, Reddit, stuff
Right.
like that. People just like not happy with it. Um,
Right.
and that's something you get in your character stands still while you do it. You go to a jungle practice or a bot game, your character stands still, and people are getting kicked after like 5 minutes for an activity while they're trying to, move things around on their screen, but since their character wasn't moving, it was kicking them. And that's like, I don't know, that's kind of funny, just a big oversight to me.
Right.
Like, what? Ugh, what are you doing? I don't know. And like you do have the coding experience, and I have no idea what it takes, what that kind of stuff is. But I feel like did no one sit still and try to change their stuff and then realize they're getting kicked out after 5 minutes?
Right.
No.
Well, I'm sure that was like probably not happening because they're like, on top of their servers, right? So to them, they probably weren't having the same type of lag and connectivity issues that we were having further away. They probably have really good computers, and it seems like they probably don't do much play testing on console,
Yeah.
so they probably didn't test on a console, which isn't as strong.
It just the whole thing seems like a big, I guess, learning moment. Like, I don't know. I do. I want this new HUD to come back.
All
I
right.
just
I mean,
it needs cleaned up a little
I
bit.
also mostly like it, but there's definitely some non-lag problems with it. A lot of people were complaining about how small the font is. It's hard to read anything on it, which is fair. A lot of the wording was pretty small on it. There were people complaining about getting headaches because of like the colors of it and stuff, which I didn't think the colors were really that
Oh,
different from the past. Yeah,
oh,
I didn't see like a ton of that sort of stuff, but I saw a little bit of it.
right. Hmm, That's I never even thought about it like that, but
Right?
no,
Because
I really liked. I've seen some really cool ways people have set up their HUD. I
right,
mean, whether it's putting literally everything in the middle of the screen, or I saw this one I was looking at while we were sitting here just before. Um, it was like okay, here it is. Completely different. I mean, everything is so off, but it looks like, if the game originally came like this, like I wouldn't question if you told me that. If that's how the
right,
default is. Because it just looks really clean. Um, the important stuff is right there. And the stuff that's not is off to the side. I don't know, I just I really like the idea of it, and I wish would get to mess with it. So,
right. Well, like I
um,
said, if they, actually are willing to put that stuff back in and not punish the community because we didn't like their new shop, I'm sure it'll come back and like, they can probably get it back in a month if they really care,
right.
in my opinion.
And that's what I was just thinking. Like, when does it come back if it does? Like, I think, is it this coming Tuesday gonna be the X show? Or wait, I think that's later in the month. So it'll probably be the update with the new god. I would imagine if it does make a comeback. But it very well could not. After all the backlash that's going on. I mean,
Right.
every time I get on either
I don't
whatever.
think they're gonna bring the new shop back. I think they'll probably rework it so console can have the old shop with the HUD editor because they're not really connected. You can't change anything in the shop with the HUD editor.
Right, right. Yeah, but it was part of like, yeah, I don't know how any of that stuff works, but
Right. I would assume what they did is like in like coding, you can have like different like files of code and then like connect them by like calling the other file. So what I'm assuming is they have all the HUD stuff, which would include the shop, even though it's not in the HUD editor, it's still part of the HUD. They probably have all that in one file, which is why they'd have to revert everything or not revert everything. You know what I mean?
right.
But like they can do like just the HUD because that is in a different file, but the shop stuff is in the HUD file. If I had to guess, that's what their situation is. But I don't work for Hi-Res, so I don't know that for sure. But
Maybe you
that would
should.
explain why they can't do that.
Maybe that's what you need to do.
Maybe.
Get a job working for them. Fix
I
all the
doubt I have
problems.
the experiments. Holy cow, words are hard. Experience to do that since I don't
Yeah,
have literally any job experience with it. Just school stuff.
fair enough. But yeah, I mean, do you have anything else you want to hit there? Because
Not
I mean,
really.
I'm sure everyone either played with it or saw at least the problems.
All right.
Um, but I just hope it comes back. That's how I'll end that off.
Right. I mean, I'm sure it will. They spent money to create the assets, right? Like
Yeah.
they paid their artist or whoever does that to create the new assets. They're not just going to throw them away. They're going to find a way to use them.
Yep. And I just hope it comes back soon. Maybe they put it in before the actual Smite season starts, which I guess that would probably be before or with the Ixchel release. Is that
All
how you
right.
say that? Ixchel?
No idea.
Ixchel? I don't know.
I don't know how to pronounce half the god names that are already in the game.
That's fair. All right. Well, you want to move on to more Pro League stuff?
Sure.
No. Okay. Um. Oh, coming up, we got in 2 days, starting on the 31st, this Friday, is gonna be season 10 kickoff tournament. Just a little. I don't think there's anything on the line.
Pride.
Let me. What was that?
Pride.
Yeah, pretty much. Let me schedule update. This is 16 days ago. I'm trying to find the most recent. Yeah, I don't think just to determine divisional drafts. So it's a single elimination tournament to determine divisional drafts for Path to Masters phase. So I think that's this first phase one of SPL. I think they said they're dividing into 2 divisions.
Yes, I did see that at some point.
And so what do the top 2 teams, I'm guessing whatever team comes down to the finals, those will be the top.
Right. And then the
They'll be
semifinal teams will like each one will get paired with the semifinal team and 2 of the teams that didn't make it out of the first round, probably.
yeah,
I
I
would
think it'll
assume.
be like a draft, I would imagine. That's how they do this stuff.
Right.
Yes, a divisional draft. So the top 2 teams will be in separate divisions, and then they'll both pick who they want in their division for that.
Right. So
Which,
it's definitely a
you know,
big deal in some ways.
oh yeah, that can determine your. Because I mean, well, here's what I'm thinking. How would you play this? Do you want to pick the worst teams in your division? So you're constantly playing against these lower tier teams and getting easy wins, and so you're ranked higher for the tournament? Or do you want to pick some harder teams so you actually have some decent practice coming into these big
Well,
tournaments?
they
Although you
still
may have
are going to
quality.
play everybody. They're just playing the teams in their division more.
Right, right. And so, if you're playing a worse team though, more, you're gonna get more wins.
Yeah.
But if you're playing a better team more, you're gonna get better practice, but you might also lose more as well.
I wouldn't be that worried about it. I would try to be facing the weakest teams.
Yeah,
If
for
I
sure.
can get the Gladiators and the Hounds in my division, that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. I think the most wins you can get, the better seeding you can get for any tournament is just gonna
Right.
help you out.
But like, if you're the 1 seed, you're probably facing the Gladiators. That's a huge advantage over playing any other team.
Right.
You're a third of the way to the finals already.
That's tough, man. The Gladiators are gonna do good this year just because you said that.
Well, obviously, if they win, like if you can get yourself a free first round win because you had better seating, you have
I
less
don't.
tough games.
The Gladiators are gonna win, so I wouldn't be worried.
You also predicted them last. I just want to remind you of that.
Oh yeah, and I'm sticking to that. I don't think they have a shot.
They do not.
It's just
Well,
like
they have a shot, but not a good one.
it's just like Scarabs 2.0, which Scarabs got like third. I think no.
See, I don't remember them doing well in season 8. I think they just pretty well in the tournament.
Yeah, they made a run in the tournament, and that was it. They barely made play-ins, and then they played against the Dragons, who just choked.
As they do.
They automatically made it to the semifinals off of that. And so that was the only thing that happened there, but all right. Well, you want to do rundown, kind of look at predictions here, what we think's gonna happen.
Should we
in
talk
this
about
tournament?
Shinto first, or should we just wait till we get to the Leviathans?
I mean, either way.
Yeah.
I was just gonna wait. That's gonna definitely factor in my.
All right. Well, keep them waiting a little longer.
Keep them on your toes.
Keep them
Okay.
teased.
Basically, we got first round. Start at the top. We got
Yep.
Glads versus
Kings.
Build the Gladiators versus Kings.
Camelot
very
Kings.
very last team to make it into the league versus the reigning, like the defending champs.
Yeah. Probably the first team.
Yes. So I think this is going to be a pretty obvious pick for me.
Right.
I would
The
assume you're going.
Gladiators.
Whoa.
I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm picking the Kings.
No, I will tell you if. I mean, this is worse.
I
than
could
the
see it.
one seed.
You know what I mean?
1 seed versus the 16, I think.
Right.
But
I don't know. Some
yeah,
of those 16 seeds in March Madness are pretty ass.
that's what I'm saying, man. I think comparatively, as long as the Kings show up and like actually want to try, which I don't see why they wouldn't want to try in this tournament.
Well, I see why they'd want to try, but I think they might just, be mentally unprepared. They're going to be like, yeah, we're the champions, we're facing shitters, and the Gladiators come out and do something like some like weird shit, and the Kings aren't ready for it, and they drop a game, and then the Kings go, whoa, what the shit? And then they win the rest of the games. I literally don't see a way Gladiators win it. Even if they like do that and manage to take a game off the Kings, they're not winning enough to make it through. Because I'm assuming it's best of 3, right?
I don't think it says here.
If it's best of 1, then the Gladiators definitely have a chance. If it's best of 3, there's no shot. In my
So
mind.
the games start at 11. I would imagine then. I would imagine it's best of 2 first round if they start at 11, because they would.
Well,
have
if
to
it's
start at
best of 2, what happens if it goes 1-1? So first to 2, you mean?
Best of 3. Sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
first to 2. That's what I meant.
Okay.
First 2, best of 3. Oh yeah, that's what you said. You said best of 3. I was thinking best of 5. But yeah, I think the semi. I don't know. I don't know how they would do it, but we're unsure of what this is going to be. I'm sure I could find it here. But yeah, I see this going 2-0 Kings. Glads.
I'll say
like
2-1 Kings. I'll give the Glads a game. They'll do some like crazy strat, and it'll work, and everybody will be like, "Whoa!" And then like they'll lose the other 2 like super hard.
Well, that's what they were doing. They were playing really well early game. The Glads were.
Right.
And so, well, not really well, but they were playing good in the early game, and then kind of falling off late game. And so I think they can definitely get ahead on the Kings. in a game or two, they could get ahead, and then the Kings are going to say, okay, let's use our hands here, and then stomp them late game.
Yeah.
I think if
They'll be like,
anything,
oh yeah, we're the Kings.
yeah, if any game lasts past 30 minutes, I think it's over. I'd go into the Kings.
If any game lasts past like 20 minutes, the Gladiators are gonna have to win early.
Okay. Format: 2 divisions, 4 teams. Okay, yeah. So basically, you'll play two. Sorry, I'm backtracking here. You play each team in your division twice, and then each team in the separate division once.
Right.
Yep.
So that's 10 total games.
Yes. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't even actually think about it. We're gonna go with that though.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. I cannot find anywhere where it says what the games are best of.
They always do first to 2, best of 3, however you want to word it. Other than like finals of big tournaments, sometimes they'll do best of 5. But I'm pretty sure they only left like 2 hours per round, if I remember correctly from the Smite website.
Yep.
So that would imply it's best of 3.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on though to what would this be, like the 4-5 seed?
I would assume so. Well, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, surely not. But
I would have to be. But then what do they have? Like either the Leviathans or the Dragons? Well, I think it would be 4 and 5 because normally you pair. That would be 4 and 5. If it's 8 teams, 4 and 5 are the middle 2. And
are we considering? Because I would imagine it's going Kings 1, and it looks like Ferryman 2, then Leviathans Dragons 3-4, then Warriors Ravens 5-6.
Maybe that's how they did it. I don't know.
And then
The point is, winner of this goes on to face the Kings. If we're being real.
Ravens Warriors. So
yeah,
I think this might be my most hyped up match. I think this is going to be.
You're very excited to see how both these teams do.
Yes. Ravens. Well, especially for my fantasy, I have a couple of Ravens players.
The two best ones because you got them in the fucking last 2 rounds. You got Haddix and Scream. Still mad.
Yeah, that was lucky, but so I want them to play well. I'm also a fan of Venenu, and the rest of the team, so I want them to play around. But man, I can't wait to watch the Oni Warriors because they could, like, what's their ceiling? What's their floor?
Their ceiling is definitely 3 seed, maybe 2, but I'm pretty sure 3.
I'm super excited to see that. Coming down to it, man, I think it's. I don't know. If the Warriors can look like they can play well together, if they have someone to lead the team, they got that X factor, they got that dog in them. I'm giving it Warriors 2-1.
You're at Warriors 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
See, here's what I'm thinking. I have this gut feeling that the Warriors are going to come out and look like shit. I'm going to feel really stupid for picking them third. Everybody's going to be like, man, the Warriors are shit. And then, like, during the season, they're actually going to do well. So I think they might actually have a bad game here. But then, like, still be good during the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of what my gut is telling me. Not necessarily my brain, but that's what my gut is saying. My brain is still telling me that the Warriors are definitely better than the Ravens.
But I mean, it was like the start of season 8 with the Titans. I mean, they had a lot of big names on their team. They had Scary D, NG, Paul, Cyclone Spin, and Aurora. And like all of those are really good players. But it was just the fact that they hadn't played together like that.
Right.
That hadn't been together. And I had them, people had them winning the entire first tournament, and they got knocked out of the first round, I think. They looked horrible
Right.
for weeks. And so I could see something like that definitely happen to the Warriors.
Well, a big factor in that though was that Benji was kind of washed at that point. You know what I mean? He wasn't the Benji of old in season 8.
They also had Scary D in the jungle, which he doesn't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was probably not a good idea by them. I'm still gonna say the Warriors 2-1, but it's not gonna be like a good looking 2-1. You know what I mean?
I
Pagon,
can see
if they're gonna be about to lose Game 3, and then Pagon's gonna make the fucking play of his life, and they're gonna come back and win.
I think the team this game could be like the Wargs Gladiators set to make it to the SBL, where no one's playing well, and so it's like whoever can play the least worst.
Yeah. whoever can collect 4 pyro bombs is gonna win this game.
Right.
Or this set, I guess.
Like, I don't even know. You have like SOT and Pagon and Jake. Like, what are your team comps even going to look like?
There's going to be some wild shit.
I think they were saying they have like 4 Uller players on that team potentially. You could pick up an Uller and like, where is it going? And it's like that way with a couple of characters.
Right.
They're
just gonna ban Uller.
I mean, but there's so many characters that they can pick, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be.
I want to see Awesome Jake play Uller in support.
Yeah, same.
They're just like, all right, we got Uller. Who are we gonna put him on? And then they're like, he's probably going like mid, and then they give him to Jake. They're just like, think fast.
Hey, did your like die or something?
Yeah, that was weird. It's back now. It looks like.
Okay, cool.
It definitely changed. It should sound fine to the podcast because I use my computer mic for the recording and my other one in Discord.
I just want to make sure it wasn't gonna mess with our recording.
Yeah, it should be good.
So yeah, we're confident with not confident, but we're going with the 2-1.
Yep.
Warriors here. Okay. The next game, Hounds Ferryman. And the Hounds are a team that I want to watch.
Right.
No, we've talked about like when we did the rankings before.
If they were facing any team but the Ferryman, I would be picking the Hounds because I can just see it happening. You know what I mean? I think they're better than a lot of people give them credit for. They're still a 7, but they're a very good 7. But they're facing playoff Paul. First name playoff, last name Paul.
Last name Paul. Yeah, that's kind of where my thoughts went toward this. Is a tournament,
Yeah.
And this is the Ferryman. And the Ferryman in tournaments, Old Titans are. I just think they're gonna be leaps and bounds ahead of, a Fresh Hounds team.
Right.
Bars.
They should not move the camera off dual lane this entire game. I want to see Coast versus Cyclone Spin.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good matchup. I don't know what the meta looks like going into this. I'm guessing it's going to be a lot of Jingwei, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
In the ADC role, I suppose.
Nah, Jingwei support.
Support probably. But so I don't know if it's going to be a lot of very, volatile lane. Especially, if you have someone like Jingwei, people are going to be playing safer. You're going to be wanting more crit options. I'm sure Ishtar's still going to be really good, so maybe we can see him on that, popping off. But at the end of the day, I think the rest of the team is not going to be able to get it done. And, I'm not saying that Coast is for sure gonna, solo Cyclone every single time he looks at him.
I'll say it. I think Cyclone Spin is ass.
I just think you're wrong there. I think he's good. I don't think
He
he's
looked
necessarily
really bad in Split 3. I don't think he's as bad as he looked in Split 3 of last year, though.
hopefully.
Hopefully for
Oh.
you. Hopefully
Right.
not for me.
So what are you giving this game?
I'm going 2-0 Ferryman.
That's
Pavs aren't going to get a game.
I think some it
Are
could
you
be
writing
some,
this down? Because I have not been.
yeah. So far
Okay.
we're exactly the same.
Yeah, that's
so,
true.
I haven't. Yeah, but if we go different, I'll make sure to get this winner. What winner gets what? Winner gets a
High five.
okay, we'll go with that. So, yeah, I don't know. Ferryman or in this looks like a 2 seed. I
Right.
agree with that. But now, getting down to the last game of the day, or I guess I don't know if this is played in order, but last game of the tournament.
I think on the... I can check real quick because it's on the Smite website. I'm pretty sure it is.
See, I don't know where you're looking at all this stuff because I cannot. No,
It's at the bar at the top. Ah, it started the thing.
Oh, turn them off. Turn them off.
I did. Yeah, okay, so... Okay, the last game of the day is the Ravens Warriors.
Dude, and that's the one I'm not gonna be able to watch because I have work. So
Of course.
it always does this, man.
That's kind of funny. I am laughing. Chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, second game, Levi's Dragons, and this is where we have to bring in the Shinto.
Yep, he will not be playing in this kickoff tournament for the Leviathans.
Then I don't think it's been confirmed who's filling in for him. And he also, I will say, at the end of last year said he was done with Smite. As a joke. He said he wasn't going to be on the team anymore. Obviously came back. He was messing around. Is this just an elaborate joke? Is he really playing into this and having people wonder? Because it's 2 days away and we have not got a confirmation on who their mid laner is.
I did not know about that. If it's Shinto, I'm gonna
Yeah,
like
right. But I'm pretty sure this is like unless it's a really elaborate, pull on the old leg,
right.
jerking me off here. I think that he's definitely not going to be here.
Right. It was someone with visa issues.
No, so it was actually confirmed it's not visa
Oh,
issues.
okay. Never mind. I didn't say that.
Well, yeah, I think I did tell you that because that was being rumored. But then someone was saying it was confirmed it's not. Something, he's not going to be in Atlanta. People are saying, he could have, because there was talk about him being homesick, the past 2 seasons. Or
Right.
and wanting to go home. And now that he's been home for the past 3 months, maybe he's deciding that he likes it there better, And
Right.
so,
Maybe he just wanted a little bit extra time as well.
Yeah.
He might just
Yeah,
be like,
so-
I'll just skip the playing tournament. It's not really, it's important, but it's not like super important, and then I'll come back to the regular season.
which
I think everybody could understand that.
I hope he does. I mean, I'm yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm confident he will come back, but I hope he does because he's a top mid in the league, and I don't think watching the play-in tournament, anything coming up would be a downgrade,
For sure.
and like a major downgrade. And I think having the best players in the league is obviously what's going to be best for the league. Making it more competitive, having top tier
Right.
players. So, I hope he comes back. I'm
I hope he comes
no
back because he's
idea.
on my fantasy team.
Right. That's
If he doesn't come back, I am fucked.
he's your guy, man. Yeah, you definitely need him. But
Well, I might not be fucked. I just definitely won't catch you.
it's gonna put you in a bad spot for sure.
I,
But yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I still think I'm better than a lot of the teams with a bad bid, to be fair, but definitely won't be 8th.
yeah. Sorry.
Poor Hunter.
Um,
Love you, Hunter.
I don't just because of that. Um, I don't see every time a team has had a substitute, that person has done very poorly in the first set. Sino stepped in for the Titans last year, and I mean he didn't do great, but then he started to play like they practiced together and he started to play and they got to the tournament and things went fine then. Obviously. But I remember I watched the Leviathans when Julio got banned. They had to bring their coach in as their solo lane, and he ended up going like 0-6. I mean, he was getting tower dove under his tier 1 solo tower at like 7 minutes, and they were just tower like killing him on repeat over and over again.
Right.
And so, especially as someone as important as a mid laner, I know. I just don't see
Right.
how that'll work out. So,
Yeah.
I think the Leviathans still have a really good team.
Right.
And maybe they could find a way to work around it. But with, Zapman's not really your flashy pop-off player. I think the way Solo is right now, unless Fine OK finds a way to carry on like a Herc or a Guan.
Hades, maybe.
Yeah, adapting would also, like everyone would have to play nuts, but I'm giving this 2-0 to Dragons.
Right.
I think.
Before I make my prediction, I'm just going to say real quick, it sure is interesting that Mr. Fine OK and Mr. PBM are facing each other in the first round of this tournament. It's almost like
I
they
know.
did that completely on purpose and aren't even like pretending to hide it. They're just like, yeah, we're giving you Fino and PBM. That's what you want, isn't it? You want these two to face each other?
I think that definitely hypes this up, and that's what
Yes.
this is the 1 p.m. game. This is like the prime time game,
Yeah.
This is definitely going to be the most viewed game, especially you have adapting, you have PBM, you have Fine OK. You just have your big names right there.
Would be
Also,
Chinto, but he's not in it. But when they made this, they didn't know that yet.
Something cool to think about. I've seen which the odds of this happening, I'm sure, are close to none. But you know who used to play mid for a couple seasons back in the day?
Who?
Who is not on a team? Because they said the person who has to fill in can't be like on an SCC team right now. So that takes away a lot of, that's like the next level of competition. And so like you're either going to bring up some random ranked player, it's dropping this, but who used to play mid a couple seasons ago, who is not on a team, Panda Cat.
That would be insane.
That he steps. What if he comes back for
to face his old friend?
he comes back for the just the tournament. I mean, even if they let him play online, maybe.
Right.
But then what happens? Shinto decides, no, I'm not coming back. I like it here. And Panicat says, wait, I kind of like mid lane. Let's run it.
That would be insane.
That would be sick.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I wouldn't be too bad about losing Shinto in that instance.
Right. Then Panda Cat and Panda Cat is not just. I mean, he's not like an ADC playing. I mean, he's like a mid laner too. He's good at that role.
Right.
They went to Worlds. He was a carry. They won Worlds as a carry, and then he switched to mid, and then they made it back to Worlds finals when he was a mid laner. No. Yes.
I don't know. He was in finals a lot.
Yeah.
At least 3 times that I know of.
So he won one. Yeah, I think they went to 3 in a row. And lost us last 2. So yeah, he's someone who does know how to play mid. And if he could come back and that, reignites his fire for Smite, that'd be cool.
I doubt it would happen though.
Right. Like I said, it's the odds of that happening are next to none, I feel like, but it's something.
Anyways, I'm taking Dragons 2-0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck it, 2-1. Final's gonna get a game off him. He's going for his revenge game. He's gonna get a game off the Dragons, but the Dragons are still gonna win the set.
All right, and so that brings us to Warriors Kings.
Yep.
And Dragons Ferryman.
Yep, for both of us.
So Kings Warriors. I again think this is just Kings, and if the Warriors Ravens are going to be a battle who plays not the worst, then I don't see him having a chance against the Kings team.
Right. So here's what I'm thinking. I think that if the Warriors are either gonna go out in the first round and look bad, or they're gonna be really fucking good. So I feel like if they make it here, they actually have a pretty good chance of winning. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair
so
take.
I'm picking the Warriors 2-1, just for fun, just so we have something different.
Okay, I'm going 2-0 Kings.
That's fair. I can totally understand why you would do that in every way. But I'm having a little bit of fun. I don't think it's impossible. I think I could do it. The Warriors are really good.
Oh yeah, I think if they look like they've been practicing together and playing well. I've been watching Awesome Jake on YouTube, and he cues with Pagon and SOT a lot, and him and Pagon were laning together. And Jake's biggest thing they were saying was his lack of communication. Like all of a sudden you look at the map and he's at their yellow buff, doing whatever. And he went off and he started doing something and didn't say anything. And then Pagon literally started yelling at him. He's like, "You can't do that. Like, tell me you're doing that. Like, that's something you have to say." And he was like, "Yeah, you're right." So hopefully they can round him.
Hopefully it was more of a problem with his team not getting on him enough and not a full him problem.
Maybe they can, round him in, or however you say that,
rein him in.
Wow. Yeah, I can see if they can get together, them making a run in this, but Kings play anything like they did last year.
Right. I'm worried about the Kings being a little complacent in this tournament. You know what I mean? I could see them playing complacent and then losing a game they probably shouldn't lose, and that being like their wake up call and reigniting the fire under them, and then they dominate again. Because I do think they're really good. There's a reason I picked 2-1 and not 2-0. You know what I mean?
There's been one team ever to go back to back for Worlds, and so
it was the former Titans, wasn't it? Pretty much. They weren't called the Titans then, but they were like the Pittsburgh Knights or something.
No, they did go back to back, but they changed their team. The only one that didn't was season 2 and 3. It was like adapting Yaman, Iraffer.
Some dudes a lot of people probably haven't heard of.
No, they were the world champions, man.
Right.
2 years in a row. Season 2 and 3.
a
anyone
long
now,
time
yeah.
ago.
I guess for the newer
Yeah.
people. Yeah, these are like.
Yeah. I mean, the Packers won the first 2 Super Bowls. Name a player on those teams. You know what I mean?
This isn't as quite as old as football. It's like
Yeah.
10 years old now. So.
The football's a
Yeah,
lot more popular, though.
Wow. Yeah. I actually do want to see who was on that. Here we go. Scores here. Where are we looking at stats? Stats. Players. Let's bring it down to season 2 super regionals. It was, adapting. That was Epsilon, whatever Epsilon was. iRaffer, yeah, he's their anyway, doesn't matter. Sorry. I got a little off here.
Yeah.
I'm curious of who the other two. I can't remember who their solo was, man. But yeah.
Yep. Dragons, Berryman. Dragons, Titans. An old classic, kind of.
The classic, yeah.
Yep.
The Titans Dragons classic, except the Dragons look different. But
yeah, basically not the same team, but
basically,
PBM versus Paul.
Yeah, the franchise was wrong. Franchise rivalry. I don't know where I think if this is going to be another, it depends on how serious, teams take the off season. How well this new meta is going to work in their favor. I have to say that I think Paul looks better than Dardes in this meta. I think mid laners are really important. Nika and Baskin, I'm sure that won't. The solo lane right now, I don't think it'll be a very interesting matchup. Who we got coming out of the jungle? Oh, Lasbra, man. I forgot about him. Again, how well does Lasbra fare with this meta? Because when metas look like his metas, he's the top jungler in the league, if things play his way. But I think I'm giving this one a 2-1. 2-1 to Ferryman.
I'm going 2-1 to the Dragons. Because while we joke about playoff Paul, and this is a tournament, it's not the playoffs, it's a preseason tournament. There is a difference. They might not be the same
ferryman we see in the actual playoffs. So I'm going to go Dragons. I'm going to put my trust in PBM.
I would love for it to be, but every single time for the past 3 years, I've said the Dragons have this.
And then PBM chokes.
And then they don't have it. They lose.
Right.
So this is, of course, this is going to be an Eagles situation for me. For the one time I pick against them, the one time I pick them, they lose. Kind of thing. So, I think this game could go either way. So we're giving them 2-1s here.
Yeah. Which means we have completely different finals matchups after having the same first round matchups.
So
I got Warriors, Dragons, you got Kings, Ferryman. You got a repeat of the World Finals.
Finals, yeah. Which I think that might be my I might have a little bias there.
Yeah.
Based on how they last played, but I mean I still think these are the best two.
That's fair.
Teams.
Can't blame you for those picks.
Right.
You could definitely blame me for picking the Warriors, but I don't think you can blame me for picking the Dragons.
Dragons are totally reasonable. They would be my number 3. So okay. Saying that, there's also going to be a game for third place, and so you would have We would have Kings versus
We're just picking the opposite matchups. So we still
yeah.
have the same matches. It's just one of them's for the championship and one of them's for third place.
Yeah. So for the Warriors Dragons game,
My finals.
we both have it happening. Yeah, my third place. Um, I mean, what are you think is going to happen? Because you think the Warriors are on a hot streak here in this situation.
I do. I see him on a hot streak, and I see PBM being haunted by his finals performance from last year. He's like, I'm back in the finals, I missed 4 Marials last time I was here, and he does it again, and then the Dragons still somehow pull through and win.
That was in the semifinals.
That was fine. Semifinals, finals, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
He's gonna get
The
flashbacks.
it's the master versus the what'd you call that? The
Apprentice.
apprentice. Yeah. BVM and Pagon going at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. You're giving it 2-1 Dragons.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't see I don't think the Warriors even pick up a game here.
You don't have faith in the Warriors, huh?
I mean, like you said, I picked them to win game 1, and I think that's a stretch, or the first set, and only because I don't think that the Ravens are very good.
Right.
And so I think picking them
Right.
for
I'm
that first
picking
game,
like they mesh really well together right away, and you're
right,
picking like they're still figuring things out path.
right, yeah. And you know what? If they are put together, and I think that's going to be even more exciting to watch. And I'm here for it. I'm not wishing anything bad on them. I want them to win. I want them to do good. And I just don't think that's going to happen right now. I think it's going to take time. I'm giving that 2-0 to the Dragons.
And then we got Kings Ferryman. I have Kings 2-0. They spanked them last time. They're going to spank them again.
This time they got Baskin. I mean, you've got.
I don't care.
Cyclone.
I think they got worse than Gary. You don't, but I do.
I think that's
Okay.
insane. You could even say that.
So here's the thing. I was looking at stats for last season.
If you're gonna go split 3, I don't even think you can consider that.
I'm not talking about split 3. I'm not even talking about anything Cyclone's been did. I'm just talking about Stewart here. If I remember correctly, in the 2 splits to end last season, so splits 2 and 3, if I remember correctly, Stewart was the only person in the entire league in both those splits that had 30 more kills than deaths. In both splits. There were people who had 30 more kills than deaths in one split or the other, but he was the only one who had 30 more kills than deaths in both, if I remember correctly.
Let me look here. He had exactly 30 more kills than deaths. Cyclone Spin in Phase 2 had more. He had 32 more kills than deaths.
Right, but he didn't replicate it in Phase 3.
Panda Cat had 50 more. That guy's just different, though. Oh, Netrioid had 60 more kills than deaths.
Right. But then if you look at Phase 3, at least in terms of carries, I don't think any of the other carries had 30 more kills than deaths in both of them.
Let me find Phase 3 here. Why did they make this so difficult to navigate? Okay, here.
Panda Cat didn't in Phase 3.
No, Panda Cat had about 30. Stewart had 30. Vote had, what is that, 60?
Yeah, but he had a bad Phase 2.
Yeah, and then Cyclone actually had 10 more kills and deaths. And I think this is more phase 3, there was some issues going on behind the scenes, and that led to him not
Right.
being on the team anymore.
But it's not like he went to a different team. He's still on the same team he had issues with.
I think it was like a personal issue thing, like
Yeah.
not necessarily a team. Like
I
he
don't
had
know.
something going.
We'll
Yeah.
see. But I don't think you give Stewart nearly enough credit, is my point.
I think you can say that, but I'm not saying Stewart's bad. Obviously, dude's in the league. He's, I think, the 8th best carry in the world. I'll give him 7. I'll give him 7. 7th best carry in the world. And so, I mean, I'm like, no hate toward him, obviously. There's just everyone else can do it better in that role. There's 6 other people who can do it better.
Well, the stats from last year say differently, so.
That's fair. And I think he had a good run in Worlds. And I mean, really, it's not like he fragged. It's not like he popped off. He just played. He played
Yeah.
good Smite. And I think people are overhyping him for that. Really do.
Anyways, who you got?
Yeah, I got Kings.
You got Kings? All right.
I got Kings 2-1, but you got him 2-0.
Yeah.
All right. I think that'll be a good match. I think it's gonna be boring. Not like all. I think Kings just play it slow. They play a different kind of Smite. They play it slow and not always the most fun to watch.
They play a winning kind of Smite.
And that's same with the Titans. Just have like a slower.
Can we just never call them the Ferryman again and just only call them the Titans?
Oh, did I say?
You said Titans. They're just the Titans. Nobody knows why they changed it. I'm just gonna keep calling them the Titans.
I think it's criminal that they were allowed to change it, but that is what it is.
Yeah. Do you want to do division predictions as well?
Okay, so this would be. I mean, our divisions would be totally different though because you have the Warriors, Dragons at the top.
Right,
Okay,
but
yeah,
it's there's just two different brackets. Like our second bracket and our first bracket, like they're just swapped. So different teams are like the top seed, but it could still be the same.
Okay. So let's go. I'm gonna go. All right. So if you are the Dragons, in your bracket, your Dragons would have the first pick. What team are they taking?
Right. So do they have to pick a second seed first, or are they picking?
No, you get to pick. I would assume this is how they've done it in the past. You just pick from everyone.
Okay. I would assume they would pick the Gladiators.
Yes, I think you'd be crazy not to.
Yeah.
I'm
And I'm
gonna
assuming
give
for you, the Kings are picking the
Kings.
Gladiators.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm giving Kings Gladiators. Warriors. What's the second pick gonna be?
The Hounds, probably.
And that's. I mean, that's.
It might
It's
depend on how they feel against the Ravens. Like if they spank the Ravens, they might be like, we kind of have their number.
Right.
But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to pick the Hounds.
It's definitely something that could go either way because if it is in a situation like yours, or I guess either of them, the Ferrymen are playing the Hounds first round, and the Warriors are playing the Ravens first round. So it's like if you felt really good about that, then why wouldn't you?
Or if they like if the Ferrymen play the Hounds and they're like, fuck, these guys are good, we don't want to play them. Maybe they would pick the Ravens. Yeah.
I think the Ravens Hounds are the next two are the two in contention here.
Yeah.
And so it depends on how you feel, but then you also don't have any play time against that other team.
Right.
Does that affect it at all? I think you'd have to take the Hounds here simply because you do have a team that has. I mean that team has potential to be a top.
Right. Well, if you're the Ferryman, you haven't played exactly the Ravens before, but you've played the Bolts before, and the Ravens are pretty similar to what the Bolts were.
I think it's really just a downgrade in support.
Yeah.
And a potential there were times last year where Lasbro looked better than Scream, and where Scream looked better than Lasbro. So,
Right. Scream was on a much better team though.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
It kind of just depends on what you want from your jungle. Scream is gonna make plays and get himself killed. Lasper does that a little bit as well, but like not as much. You know what I mean? He's a bit more safe.
Yeah, I think he plays like the setup a lot better as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Scream's not really a setup type of guy. He's more of a finisher.
He's a fragga.
Yeah. Which is exactly what the Dragons needed, which is why they look so good with him.
Yep.
Might not be exactly
All
what
right.
this Ravens team needs, though.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
we will see.
right.
Who even sets up on the Ravens, honestly?
That's kind of what I was thinking, though, because, like,
Vinanu? Like,
I mean, Haddix plays the kind of like Kakolin, King Arthur.
right. It'll probably be
style
Haddix.
well. But he also can. I don't know. I would like to see that team play.
Yeah, it's gonna be
honestly.
interesting.
It's just 2 more days, baby. And honestly, at this time, we got like a day and a half.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We're at a day and a half right now. A day,
Nice.
120, 36 hours and 23 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Moving on.
Yeah. So I got the Warriors picking the Hounds, and I'm assuming you have the Ferryman picking the Hounds.
Yes, I think I'm going Ravens for Kings next.
Yeah, and I'm going Ravens for Dragons.
I figured that was going to be the next fill-in. So this is where it starts to get interesting, though.
Right. And, well, first Leviathans goes to the other one automatically, right? I would assume.
You think so?
Well, maybe. I guess maybe not. Because I was assuming they had to pick the 1 seeds, but I guess they don't have to do that, right? They could pick a 2 seed over one of them.
Yeah, you just grab whatever is.
Well, for me, the teams that are left are the Ferrymen, the Leviathans, and the Kings.
Yeah, so. But mine are Warriors, Leviathans, Dragons. And so I think this has to be a Warriors pickup for the Ferryman here.
All right. Yeah. I'm picking a team for the Warriors. I think this is a Ferryman pickup for the Warriors.
Really?
I guess we don't know for sure if Shinto is coming back.
So you have Leviathans, Ferryman, and
in the playoffs, they'll just get to pick who they face, right? It's not going to be somebody out of their division. So they want an easier regular season, and the Ferryman is definitely the worst regular season team out of these. So I think the Warriors would pick the Ferryman.
Yeah, so wait, you have Kings, Leviathan. I forgot you did not have the Kings in the finals. That's wild. Yeah, so Ferryman here. Yeah, Ferryman, Kings, Levi's. Yeah, I can see the Ferryman being pickup. Maybe there'll be rumors by the time they pick rumors. Shinto's not coming back. Then I think that could be a
right
pickup.
If they have a halfway decent man to replace him, I'd still want the Ferryman in the regular season over the Leviathans. Who is that guy on the Wargs? Like, if they get that guy on the Wargs, you know what I mean?
Crimson?
Yeah.
He kind of shit the bed a couple times.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's not the worst ever.
Right. Yeah. I just think, anything's a huge downgrade from Shinto.
Oh, for sure. But, I mean, that team's still pretty good. They still got Fino. Zapman can do stuff. If adapting plays as, adapting of the past, we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Right. Now you have the Dragons picking between the Kings and the Leviathans.
Yeah. I They're pretty obviously going to pick the Leviathans, which is amazing because that means we're going to see PB Emperor's Final K even more.
all the time.
Yes.
Which would be sick. But see, I have to. I mean, mine have to be opposite now because I only have Leviathans, Dragons left. And I think at that point, if you're the Kings, you're picking the Leviathans.
Yeah.
Which
for me leaves the Kings in a division with the Warriors, Ferrymen, and the Hounds. Jesus Christ, the division is so strong.
it's a good one. But yeah, see, this is we have sort of the same thing. We have the same exact divisions, except Kings and Dragons are switched.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I think whichever one has the Glads and the Ravens. Glads, Ravens, Levi's. I think the Levi's are automatically set for a good year. You know, sure you have to play
Right.
the Dragons or the Kings. You have to play another top
Right.
team
Right.
often. But then you have all those other games which should be
Right. That isn't that division for me. Dragons, Leviathans, Ravens, Gladiators. that is a not very strong bottom two in my opinion.
right, and that's the problem with having three kind of bottom teams like this.
Yeah. We don't know if the Ravens are going to be a bottom team.
Speculation,
Though.
yeah,
I
exactly.
think they're going to not be very good, but Haddix is the second best solo in the league. You know,
right, and I can
Scream's a good
definitely see
jungle.
a world where in this tournament the Warriors look really bad and get picked up before the Ravens here.
Right. And then hopefully do well in the regular season. And then could you imagine where a division somehow ends up like it'd be like Gladiators, Warriors. I'm assuming in that world Kings win the tournament. And then like Leviathans or Dragons or something. That would be insane. That's just an insane division. Obviously, the Gladiators aren't good.
Yeah, I mean, some crazy stuff would have to happen to make that.
Right. Well, if teams think the Warriors are bad and pick them,
Right. And then I guess that's totally.
yeah, and then you would end up with Leviathan's Dragons as the last team in that. I would assume, unless the Dragons win, I guess.
Right.
Because the other division would be Hounds, Ravens, and then.
I can't believe you have the Warriors in the finals. So.
Look, Skip Bayless. One of us got to be Skip, okay? One of us got to do crazy shit to get people interested.
Fair enough, man.
I do think the Warriors are very good. I don't necessarily think that making the finals is likely, but I do think if they make it past the first round. Like we were talked about in the past how Big Man Tinks wasn't practicing for a lot of the offseason. You know, like I could easily see the Kings rest on their laurels and then getting their shit kicked in out of nowhere.
Oh. I don't think that's possible for first round, obviously, since it's against Gladiators.
I mean, you never know, though. If they're really resting on their laurels, you know.
Right.
Like, that is a fundamentally good team, but I also feel like it's a very self-confident team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, well, that's part of being good, though, is having...
Right. Know, but they got to be careful not that self-confidence turn into cockiness.
Right.
If they are just self-confident, they'll be fine. If they start to get cocky, that's when they're going to have problems.
No, we love cocky around here.
I don't know if you can say that.
Okay, sorry. It's like it's a English term, British term. I don't know where are these guys. Where are the Kings from?
I don't know.
I don't know.
They're from Camelot, clearly.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a dumb question.
I think Camelot's in the Middle East-ish.
I have no idea. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I have been every weekend. What is today?
Oh, I was wrong. It's King Arthur's court, so it's in Britain. You were right. I was the dumb one.
I don't know what you're getting at with the Middle East there.
I thought the camel. I don't know. It sounds like something that'd be in the Middle East. I don't know. You know,
Fair enough.
it's pretty close to camel. That's definitely what my brain did. My brain went camel, desert, go.
Why aren't there any camels in the United States?
I don't know. I don't know if there's any native to here, but I know at one point the United States military had the Camel Corps to patrol the deserts, like near the border between here and Mexico.
All right, guys, go home. Text your mom. Ask her where the camels are.
Yeah.
Um,
Ask
that's
her
your
why the camel isn't ganking right lane.